This is Nasha Kasha Ukrainian Almanac, 28 minutes of stories for everyone about Ukrainian life. Nasha Kasha is heard on 18 campus and community radio stations from Newfoundland to British Columbia. I'm your reporter Stefan Andrusiak, and this is episode 195.
Hey! Your eyes were filled with stars, so you picked up a guitar, and how the people gave the attention that you crave. Tonight, the stage is yours, but the world has watched you rise and fall 1,000 times before. Polka never dies. Hey! So what? Your face is gone. Oh, the dance will carry on, and you'll rot down in your grave with the souls you couldn't save. Tonight, the stage was yours. How they loved your moans and sighs, but the Reaper loved you more. Polka never dies.
You're listening to the Dreadnoughts with their homage to the accordion, Polka Never Dies. When I contacted them recently about this song, they asked me to tell you that their latest album is filled with sea shanties. It's called Into the North, and it's available on all of the streaming sites. My father never played a musical instrument, but when I was 8, he asked me which instrument I'd like to play. Well, the guitar, I replied. So he called Mr. Prutsuk, who back in those days visited homes every week giving 1-hour music lessons. I was ecstatic until, that is, I learned that he would be there to teach me the accordion. It wouldn't be too long before he took us to a store and convinced my parents to buy me not just any accordion. He said I needed a Gretsch La Tosca. Price $300. It's a compact size model, 41 keys on the treble side and 120 bass buttons. It has 3 voices in the treble register, bassoon, master, and clarinet, 2 toggle switches on the bass register, double octave tuning. I wasn't very good, had a hard time seeing the notes and responding with correct finger placements. Bass chords confounded me. One Friday, I tried to avoid my lesson. A friend and I went to a construction site after school. Meandering along the wooden substructure, I collected discarded empty pop bottles. I cashed them in for an ice cream soda at the Woolworth store at the Boulevard Shopping Center. In neighborhood parlance, I guess I was a bit of a shit. My parents worked so hard, and they wanted only the best for me. I did come home well after my lesson was to have begun. Mr. Prutsuk was still waiting. I did awkwardly complete my lesson, had a hard time seeing the notes through the tears. My father paid the teacher, and as he closed the door, he reached for his belt. I remember trying to slide under my bed, only half my torso fit. My mother had to drag my father away from me. That was the last time he would ever strike me, and as I recall, it was the last time I would ever see Mr. Prutsuk. There were 2 other teachers over the years. The first was Mr. Ilchina. Now he was young and cool, and he also taught 2 of my friends. Bogdan and Zeni and I would learn the same songs. We once even performed together at our elementary school's Christmas concert. Now that was fun. As young men do, Mr. Ilchina married and he moved away. A little more enthusiastically, I did make an attempt to carry on my accordion learning. It was down the street and a few blocks over on Rue Bélanger, at Adrian's music school. But by then the Beatles were at the front of my mind. My father, realizing this, just shook his head and probably stopped trying to realize his dreams through me. His love for music never abated, and he did have more success with other people's kids. In 1968, conductor Rostislav Kulish and he would co-found a marching band for the Ukrainian Youth Association of Canada. It was called Trembita. It ended up touring Europe and Canada, even to Ukraine, and it continued successfully for 4 decades. I never did join my father's band, but I did have the audacity to ask him for a set of drums. One day my father went to Arduni's music store. Mr. Arduni, for a reasonable price, had provided refurbished horns and other instruments for Trembita. My father brought home a Sonor snare drum. For me. Soon thereafter, I scraped together enough money to buy a starter drum kit. At the very end of this show, I'll close with some of the music my friends and I recorded, me on drums, in our band, Rushnichok. In later years, my father would let me know that he was pleased with the music that had become a part of my life, my way. My father, Mykola Andrusiak, died in June of 2016. He would live his final years at the Ukrainian Seniors' Home. It's called the Ukrainian Villa, and it's only 19 blocks away from where I grew up. Every month for the past 14 years, volunteers have been entertaining the residents there. The story you're about to hear about those singers originally aired in May of 2016. Nasha Kasha comes to you from CHRW 94.9 FM on the campus of Western University in London, Ontario, Canada. We're heard on CHMR 93.5 FM in St. John's, Newfoundland, on CKDU 88.1 FM in Halifax, on Local 107.3 FM in St. John, New Brunswick, on CJAS Radio 93.5 FM in San Augustine, Quebec, on CJLO 1690 AM in Montreal, on CFRC 101.9 FM in Kingston, on CFMU 93.3 FM in Hamilton, on CKMS 102.7 FM in Kitchener-Waterloo, on CJAM 99.1 FM in Windsor and Detroit, on CKLU 96.7 FM in Sudbury, on CILU 102.7 FM in Thunder Bay, on 101.5 UMFM in Winnipeg, on CJTR 91.3 FM in Regina, on CFMQ 98.1 FM in Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, on CFBX 92.5 FM in Kamloops, on CIVL 101.7 FM in Abbotsford, and on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Монреальська група «Співанка» вже співає 14 років. Вона приносить дар співу українцям похилого віку, які живуть у резиденціях у Монреалі. Пропоную вам послухати про ту ініціативу.
Hi, my name is Jenny Panizak. I was born and raised in Montreal.
I'm John Panishak. I was born in France. After the war, and when I was already 13 years old, we came to Montreal here.
My husband of 56 years in Montreal. We were married very early. I was married straight out of high school, raised 4 beautiful children. We've had a wonderful life together. I have, from a very small age, always liked Ukrainian music.
I was educated in Montreal, Darcy McGee High School, and St. Joseph Teachers College, and Sir George Williams University, and a stint at McGill University. So ended up in education.
I lost my mother when I was 4.5, but I always liked to dance on stage for Ukrainian dancing. It just seemed to come naturally to me. People would throw money and candy on the stage. I would gather the candy and leave the money. I danced with Marunchak. Then after I had the children, I stopped. After 10 years, the kids grew up, had their own schedules and activities and everything. And my very best girlfriend, Albina, suggested to me, she said, why don't you go back to Ukrainian dancing? And I thought, oh, gee, that's a great idea. So I phoned Peter Marunchak, and I said, can I come back? Sure, by all means. Vera was dancing then too. There were a few of us older girls that were dancing, and I really enjoyed that. And I became the mother of the Marunchak dance group. When we would go away, I would make sure that the girls stayed in their cabins and the boys stayed in their cabins. So they used to say, Mama, można, chine, można.
Ukrainian song is very catchy, if nothing else. It touches you. It's very warm. It seems that we Ukrainians have songs for just about everything. Sad moments and happy moments, and life goes on, but you always sing. My mom loved to sing. When she was at the villa, she joined a group.
She was one of the first ones to sign up for the residence, and she stayed there until she was incapacitated by a fall, and they asked her to come here to the villa. And she was here for, I don't know how many years altogether, I can't remember.
About 7 years in total at the villa, yes. Yeah, and then she got a stroke and she ended up at the Polish Institute. And that's where we really got involved in the Spivanka. After a few months, I was approached by some of the people who worked at the Polish home, and they were looking for some support in their quality of life committee. They had that kind of a committee there, which was, I thought was a good idea. So I did join the quality of life committee. The mandate for that committee was to work on activities and stuff, see how we could improve the lives of those people who effectively have been taken away from their homes, from their communities, from their churches. All right? So suddenly they find themselves deprived, isolated. I mean, families do go up there. I used to see them all the time. But it's a 24-hour day, and if a family member comes in, even for an hour a day, that still leaves quite a bit of time when they don't have people with whom they can relate fairly closely.
What they had was they had a lot of Polish performers that were there. They had a little trio with an accordion that would sing, and everything was in Polish. So we said, hey, there's so many Ukrainian residents. Why don't we try and do something?
I must say that there were some activities for the Ukrainians. I know for sure that the choir, the Rosemount Choir, used to go there around Christmas time and sing.
The church choir.
The church choir would sing there once a year, which was nice. At Easter, Ukrainian people would come and distribute baskets. A nice initiative also. But it quickly became very obvious that there weren't just enough activities. So we thought that it might be a good idea to supplement the activities, if you will. And there were four people sitting in the meeting: myself, my wife Jenny, Marlena Galitska, who was the coordinator of the programs, and Roma Kulish. So we decided that once a month, for a period of an hour, there would be a sing-along for all the Ukrainian folks who are able to come down or can be brought down to the hall downstairs, and also for anyone else who would like to join. Polish people, Lithuanian people, whoever wishes to join was very free to do so. This was 2006. 10 years later, here we are. Yes.
I would like to tell you that there was more involved to this than just sitting there. And the first time when we sat there and we sang these songs to them, some of them knew the words and they would sing along with us. Others did not. So we saw the need that we had to do something. First of all, he got in touch with Ruchnichok, okay, and it was it Shtick, George Shtick, I think, Andriy Harasimovich, and he gave him the words to a lot of the songs that they had played during their time, and John typed out all these words, and then he also transliterated them into Polish. So then we had something, because we wanted the people to participate in this.
The program was designed in such a way that the people who came would be able to be actively participate, and not just be spectators, all right? Because it's much more meaningful if they can sing.
We started with 3, and I believe we're up to 26 now, if I'm not mistaken. 26 volunteers who come actively. Some can, some can't, so we always have a full house. There is nothing more gratifying than standing in front of these residents, and when you see the looks on their faces, there are tears, there are smiles, there is so much emotion there that you go home and your spirits are so uplifted because you've made someone happy.
Ви слухаєте розповіді Кені і Івана Панасяків, співорганізатори щомісячних відвідань по домах, де живуть українці похилого віку, а саме канадсько-польський дім добробуту і українська вілля у Монреалі. Івана мама Стефанія Панасяк прожила 100 років 9 місяців. Вона знаходилася у польському домі, і тому виникла думка почати виступи там.
About a year and a half after we started at the Polish Home, we introduced the same program, or a very similar program at the Ukrainian Villa. We did not initiate it, but René Chumak, who's in charge of this institution, knocked on our door and said, "Hey, wait a minute. Can you come and help us out?" Sure. And we did. So we set up the program a year and a half after we had started at the Polish Institute. You know, just a very recent experience. This is after working for 10 years in these two institutions. We get an invitation from Grace Art, a long-term care facility, to do a Christmas concert. Close to 100 people came. It was an extravaganza. There were people crying, they were happy.
You know, you're young, the world is there, you're going to go out and conquer everything. You get married, you have kids, you do what you can. This is something that is precious to you. Yes, you integrate with the rest. Canada is a big melting pot, but you have to keep what is yours, and that is ingrained deep in you, which you give to your children the best way you can, and let them give to their children.
У нас багато старших українців в Монреальській околиці живуть у домах для старших людей. Тому що вони вже у своїх домах не можуть жити. Отже, вони відділені є від своїх родин, вони є відділені від своїх церков, вони є відділені від своїх домівків і так далі. І приятелів. Співаємо щомісяця для тих старших людей у 2 домах. І ми вже то 10 років робимо. І воно не є дуже тяжко зорганізувати. Треба любити співати, треба мати пару інструментів. Пісня наша може їм багато допомогти в їхнім життю у тих домах.
These are the people the older people that gave up everything to bring you here to Canada and give you the life that you now have. It's that pull to give back to these older people who have built this community, who are now not capable of getting out, so you bring it to them.
Зрозуміть не можу й досі, в чому справа, в чому суть, що студентку русокосу всі чомусь моєю звуть. Чи тому, що дні навчання подружили нас давно, що на гроші, на останні запрошу її в кіно. Чи тому, що ми відверті, що один в нас факультет, що на свято у концерті проспіваємо дует. Так і досі ще не можу зрозуміти отих розмов. Мабуть, справді дуже схожа наша дружба на любов. Чи тому, що ми відверті, що один в нас факультет, що на свято у концерті проспіваємо дует. Так і досі ще не можу зрозуміти отих розмов. Мабуть, справді дуже схожа наша дружба на любов.
Earlier in the show, you heard Boris Ostapienko playing Prelude and Fugue in E minor from the Third Suite for Bandura by Mykola Dremlyucha. And this is Rushnichok, a band which started in Montreal 50 years ago. I wish to gratefully acknowledge that partial funding for Nasha Kasha comes from the Shevchenko Foundation. Back in a week, God willing, до милої зустрічі за тиждень часу, дорогі слухачі.
Чи тому, що ми відверті, що один в нас факультет, що на свято у концерті проспіваємо дует. Так і досі ще не можу зрозуміти отих розмов. Мабуть, справді дуже схожа наша дружба на любов. І тому, що ми відверті, що один в нас факультет, що на свято у концерті проспіваємо дует. Так і досі ще не можу зрозуміти отих розмов. Мабуть, справді дуже схожа наша дружба на любов.